on ATV News.
You know who won the election. We'll show you what Cache Valley went through to vote.
You normally stuff a bus with students. We'll show you why students are stuffing it with cans.
Latinos celebrated Day of the Dead this week. Learn the difference between that holiday and Halloween.
It's November and we still don't have any snow. I'll tell you if that's about to change in weather.
In sports, find out what a broom meant to our volleyball team.
All that and more, this is ATV News. Welcome to ATV News. I'm Claire King.
And I'm Natalie Nix. Donald Trump is the president-elect of the United States. Last night, he gave his acceptance speech after Hillary Clinton called him to concede the election. He spoke about unifying the country.
To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people.
Emily Duke is live in the newsroom to give you a rundown of the voting results. Emily?
Thanks, Natalie. Yeah, in case you missed it, the election was last night, and it was one for the record books. In the national presidential election, Donald Trump is now the president-elect. He won 276 of the electoral votes and 47.5% of the popular vote. In Utah, Donald Trump took first place and all of the electoral votes, with 46.8% of the popular vote. Hillary Clinton came in second with 27.8%, and Evan McMullin, who is a popular unaffiliated candidate, came in with 20.4% of the popular vote. In the U.S. Senate, Mike Lee retained his seat with 76.4% of the vote, and Rob Bishop was also reelected with 68% of the popular vote. The governor for the next 4 years is still going to be Gary Herbert. He won the election with 74% of the popular vote. The Attorney General will be Sean D. Reyes. He'll retain his seat with 72.7% of the popular vote. The state auditor is going to be John Duggal. The Republican nominee took 69.8% of the vote, and the state treasurer will be David Damshin, also a Republican, who took 67.1%. There were 3 constitutional amendments on the ballot. Constitutional Amendment A changed the wording on the oath of office for Utah from the Constitution of this state to the Constitution of the state of Utah. Amendment B passed and changed how funds are allowed to be used for education, and Amendment 3 did not pass. Cache County passed Proposition 11, which will put a new group in charge of how water is used in the county. So that's how everything went last night. I went out to the Cache County Clerk's office not only to put in my vote, but also to see how Cache Valley residents felt about this election.
Voters lined the halls of the Cache County Clerk's office Tuesday to cast their ballots for this year's election. And most said they were ready to make their choice.
I was prepared to do the process, but I had to do some extra research about the candidates.
I've been following it along for about 6 months.
Some less prepared.
Just kind of confused because we registered to vote, but apparently they were doing mail-in ballots.
Ready or not, they all waited in the long line, ballots in hand, to cast their vote.
There's only half an hour until the polls close here in Cache Valley, but the Cache County Clerk's office is still full of people. But they say that the wait is worth it to have their voice heard.
Like it's definitely worth it to wait in line.
Even as people filled in their forms, there was still some anxiety about the candidates.
It is nerve-wracking.
Putting a choice to paper had some people a little bit nervous.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little stressed out.
And some afraid.
I'm kind of scared for the outcome of the election. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how I can't imagine it ending well.
But all sides had something in common.
I'm ready for it to be over. I'm glad the election's over so we can stop being bombarded with all this stuff.
They said mostly they're just tired of the fighting.
I'm sick of hearing people bash the other person.
But after all the waiting and nerves, everyone could agree that using their voice was important.
You're doing the right thing in voting. I mean, at the end of the day, we live in a great nation.
I think it's It's great that everyone came out to vote, no matter who you voted for, whether your candidate wins or not. It's an important part of the democratic process.
As you can see, the lines were pretty crazy, but I was amazed by how civil everybody was. They just wanted to have their votes counted.
Yeah, it looked pretty crazy. So how long did you have to wait in line?
Yeah, so my sister and I actually waited in line for 2 hours. We weren't even sure we had everything that we needed to vote, but we got lucky. Some people had to wait a lot longer.
Well, that's good, and that sounds like it really was a long time. Thank you, Emily. We wanted to see what Utah State students thought of Trump winning, so this morning we went out and asked them.
I was kind of disappointed.
I am very sad.
Not too happy about it, honestly.
I don't agree with a lot of his policies.
I'd rather both of them didn't win and we just didn't have president for the next 4 years.
On the one hand, I'm glad Trump beat Hillary.
He's the lesser of two evils.
But on the other hand, I'm sad that he beat Hillary.
He's not the kind of representative I want for my country.
Racist.
I have a lot of friends who are Muslim. I have friends who are LGBT+.
Sexist.
I think a lot of bridges are going to be burned.
Are we seriously going to have a wall between us and Mexico?
I think a lot of the crazy stuff he said, he is either not going to have power to really do, or he's just not going to make good on.
I think he's a lot of bark and no serious bite.
I remember when Obama was about to take office, everyone thought we were going to go to hell. Here we are 8 years later, we're still alive.
Honestly, don't think it's going to affect me that much.
I'm in a politics class right now, so I can tell you it'll affect me in my next hour class.
I don't know, time will tell all things. I guess we'll see.
He's going to need to do his homework and know about different countries and what's going on.
That's what it is. That's what America voted.
I think things are going to be okay.
What's done is done.
You might have been one of thousands of people who voted last night at the Cache County Clerk's office. It was one of 3 polling locations in the county. This was the first presidential election that Cache County chose to have mail-in ballots, but these people didn't vote by mail. Voters could register to vote in person.
When I got here at 4:30, the wait was about 2.5 hours. It's cut down to about an hour 45 minutes, and it's 7 o'clock now.
There was no way for the county to know who voted by mail or in person.
Logan police are still looking for the driver of a high-speed chase. According to the Cache County Sheriff's Office, it was a routine traffic stop. Then the driver of this car and his female passenger took off in the car. After police chased them, they abandoned the car and ran away on foot. Police searched in the area of 8th North between 800 and 1200 East. Neighbors heard the police and saw the couple running through their yard. Police found the woman unconscious near this dumpster, but did not find the man.
I live in the bedroom upstairs, and we heard the police run down the street, and so I peeked out my window and I saw 2 people run down the driveway.
Male, Hispanic, shaved head, small beard, mustache, like a thin one. Yeah, he's got no coat. We've recovered his coat and his ID. He shedded that when he was running from the police.
34-year-old Dora Pash of Idaho Falls was treated by the hospital, then booked into Cache County Jail with several drug violations and obscured justice.
When we come back, see how students at Utah State are making a difference in the community and how you can join them.
One USU's organization is feeding record numbers of people. Find out what it is coming up.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot. So,
live with a human for a while and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she does strange tricks for no treats. But the one thing I will never for the life of me know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny? Live with a human for a while and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she does strange tricks for no treats. But the one thing I will never for the life of me know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
You can get state tuition waived, but starting next fall, the legacy waiver won't pay for all of your out-of-state tuition, and you'll have to meet academic requirements to get it. Your scholarship index is a combination of your GPA and ACT score. Next year's freshmen will have to have an index between 142 and 117 to get 70% of their non-resident tuition waived. If it's down to 110, 60%, and down to 90, 50%. For transfer students, it's just based on GPA. USUSA says changes will help more future Aggies in the long run.
Benefit you less. It's just about benefiting more people and just for the greater good of everything.
The changes won't affect current students' waivers.
November nights can be a little chilly, but students at Utah State warm hearts with the annual Stuff a Bus service project. Students fill Aggie shuttles every Monday night during November with non-perishable food to give to the Cache Community Food Pantry. Coordinators leave notes in bags on doorsteps throughout Cache Valley on Sunday night. People then fill the bags for volunteers to pick up the next day. Coordinators say the system makes it easier for everyone to do something nice for their community. They say Stuff a Bus is a small step that makes a big difference.
I don't think any Aggie should be going to bed hungry, and no one in Cache Valley should. And especially at this time of year, people are a lot more likely to give just because it's kind of in the spirit of the holidays, and we make a big difference, and it really does matter.
Stuff a Bus will be going on for 3 more weeks. If you want to join in, meet just north of the football stadium Monday nights at 7 p.m.
Stuff a Bus also donates food to the Student Nutrition Access Center, or SNAC, here on campus, but right now it's stuffed full of students. They are lined up here in the TSC on campus for one thing: food. SNAC gives leftover food from campus businesses to students in need. And after the USU Service Center started marketing the snack closet more than usual, there have been record numbers of people coming for food. The closet is open 3 times a week, and each day brings a line of people just like this.
There are students on this campus that are hungry, that need a little bit of help, and I love that we have the resources and the volunteers that we can help them.
The snack closet is open Tuesday through Thursday from 3 to 5 on the 3rd floor of the TSC.
Governor Gary Herbert visited Utah State University on Friday.
Hey. How old are you, Jada?
These students are part of a USU program called ASSERT. It's a program for kids on the autism spectrum disorder prepared for kindergarten. Students learn how to make eye contact as they greet people. They learn words on flashcards and practice being in a classroom. Gary Herbert says he's impressed by the program.
If they work with them over 2 or 3 years, can actually prepare them by the time they get to kindergarten, 1st grade, that you have a hard time telling the difference between them and others who did not have autistic challenges.
Nearly 1 in 54 kids in Utah are on the autism spectrum.
When we come back, our Abby Lewis has our Cache Valley weather report.
The current temperature in Logan is 61 degrees.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
be nice. She's new. Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened? Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi. You mean you were driving? Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
Welcome back. So Abby, it's November and there's been no snow. What's going on?
I know, this has been the 2nd warmest and driest November on record. It's been crazy. It's been totally crazy. Come over here and I'll show you when it wasn't quite so warm and dry. Give him a second to find my video. Sorry about that. We're just having a little bit of technical difficulties. Alrighty, so what you're seeing here is 22 years ago, in 1994, they had a record high snowstorm, and throughout the month of November, they were able to get over 7 feet of snow. So if you're not from Utah, that's a lot of snow. It was crazy. Let's go on over to our national radar. Alrighty, you'll see right up here in Washington, they're getting a couple of blips here and there, not much. That means they're getting a little bit of moisture or a possibility of a little bit of precipitation, but not a lot. And then the same goes for over here on the East Coast and Florida. Those blips just mean that they're getting some moisture, not a ton, but some. Let's go ahead to our state radar here. All right, what you're going to see here is a few blips as well, which means that we're going to have a couple of clouds here and there, but I doubt that we're going to get any moisture out of it. It's been kind of warm during the days and pretty chilly at nights, which means you might want to throw an extra blanket on, but I wouldn't turn the heat up quite yet. All right, let's move to our 7-day forecast. Alrighty, so what you're going to see here is that today we have 62 and 34 as our temps, and then it's kind of the same all the way out. It's not changing a lot. It's going to stay warmer, and then by the end of the week over here, you're going to see it drop just a little bit, not a lot. Now, it's getting cooler. Yeah, it's getting a little bit colder, but I think we're going to hold out those temps for at least another week. While temps are dropping here, those that played our Aggies this weekend in hockey felt a lot cooler. Brock, how was hockey this weekend?
Thanks, Abby. USU hockey annihilated the competition. On Friday, they stomped out Weber 4-3, and on Saturday, they beat UVU 7-0. But coming up, I'll show you how things started out for this season's Utah State basketball teams. And then I'll take you on the roller coaster of games that showed our women's volleyball team the true meaning of a broom.
One unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Welcome back, sports fans. It's my job to report on all of the games, win or lose. So with that, let's get football out of the way. Last week, our Kaylin Taylor warned the Aggies to watch out for Wyoming's Brian Hill. But when Hill could easily steal a 56-yard touchdown out from under us, there wasn't much we could do. The Cowboys rounded out the first quarter alone at 14-0. While Damian Hobbs here helped the Aggies fight their way to a 35-28 difference, by the end of the third quarter, it was too little, too late. Josh Allen found tight end Jacob Hollister ready and waiting for the 37-yard touchdown pass aimed to shatter any hope the Aggies had at a comeback. This was Wyoming's 5th straight victory, while our poor Aggies experienced their 7th straight loss on the road. On to bigger and brighter futures, the USU men's basketball team squared off against the Southern Virginia University Knights in a beautiful exhibition. 4 players returned this season, including senior Jalen Moore, senior guard Shane Rector, junior shooting guard Julian Perry, and sophomore forward Quinn Taylor. The 4 met the Knights on the court, but 5 minutes in, Coach Duryea sat the USU veterans down and brought in some fresh Aggies, like Kobe McEwen, who showed up at the Spectrum like a bulldozer at a tea party. And this, now infamous, slam dunk, brought the Aggies ahead by 28 in the second half. While fellow freshman Sam Merrill didn't mind hammering the final nail into the Knights' coffin, bringing their lead to 83-47. When all was said and done, the new Aggies and old walked away with an 83-55 victory.
It was a good win for us. Let all 10 new guys play, get a feel for the college game, and it starts for real next week, and that's when we'll tighten things up and hopefully go on the road and hopefully get a win.
With the men's victory on Friday, the women took to the court to face off CSU Pueblo on Sunday. The women had a slow start, missing a lot of shots like these. They shot only 20% in the first quarter, but the Aggies were just getting warmed up. In the second quarter, we saw a lot more shots like these from Eliza West and this from Rachel Brewster. Utah State was trailing by a single point at the half, but with a new dawn comes a new day. The Aggies took a 5-point lead with this Eliza West layup, and with that, they vowed to never trail in the game again. Going into the fourth quarter, the Aggies had racked up 15 steals, with Rachel Brewster, number 22, picking the Thunderwolves' pocket 5 times. In the fourth quarter, the Aggies sunk 81% of their shots and dominated in the paint. In all, Utah State found 38 points in the paint compared to CSU Pueblo's 24. Utah State's hot shooting in the fourth quarter led to a final score of 63-54.
This is a game that we had hoped for as far as competition. You know, a lot of times these preseason games for Division I teams are just blowouts and you don't learn a whole lot. I've been there and done that. So we searched for this team. They're extremely well coached. They had success last year. They're going to have success this year. And we got a lot of good out of this game.
While some seasons were just getting started, others ended. Utah State's women's soccer closed its season on Thursday. USU took on UNLV in the semifinal game of the Mountain West Championship in the 6th minute after USU's Lauren Harmon headed the ball. Dakota Blazik got her foot on it and pushed it into the goal. Just 8 minutes later, Lily Sender maneuvered past 3 Aggies and launched the ball past Utah State keeper Grace McGuire to put the Rebels up 2-0. It was all smiles and hugs for UNLV, but USU wasn't done yet. Jessica Brooksby sent in a ball and Harmon headed it into the net. USU unfortunately couldn't capitalize on their scoring chance in the 80th minute, and UNLV won 2-1. Although the Aggies didn't claim the top spot in that tournament, that assist from Brooksby you saw was her 18th, putting her in the #1 spot in Aggie history. Our women's volleyball team had a turbulent weekend of their own. On Friday, the Aggies took on Boise State, and things were looking good as players like Carly Lenzen here had the Aggies up 16-11, but even Captain Aggie couldn't stop that glimmer of hope from turning to dust. The only thing that could clean up after losing 1, 2, 3 sets was the proverbial broom that swept the match and swept the team off the court. But almost as fast as fans cleared the bleachers, they were back on Saturday to see if the team could pick up a broom themselves. The women faced Air Force, but right away, things looked grim. Right here, Air Force's Lauren Helt scored their 3rd straight point to start things off, but the Aggies answered with a firm 12-3 smackdown run. Then went on to take their first set with a double-digit lead. For the second set, the Aggies scored the first 3 points, and from then on, everything was coming up Utah State. Defensively, the team was a powerhouse, while Lauren Anderson and Carly Lenzen led the team offensively to their total domination. At 3 sets to 0, the Aggies were happy to sweep their own game.
This helps us a lot because I think we were getting a little down, like coming off a streak of losses, and so it was nice to have this one in the bag and have it be like a nice sweep for us and focused in, and I think we're all dialed in for the rest of the season so far.
That wraps up just about everything that happened in the wild world of sports this past week, but this week, our women's volleyball team will take on UNLV and New Mexico. Both basketball teams will play on Friday. First, the women will play at noon against Westminster, and then at 8 p.m. the men will go against UC Irvine in California. Our football team will go up against the 6th ranked New Mexico Lobos on Saturday and at noon. And then the basketball teams will play again on Monday. So, yeah, if you've been waiting for basketball season, the wait is officially over. That's all from me. Back to you two at the desk.
Thanks, Brock. Sounds like a really busy week for sports fans. Coming up, the Latino Student Union threw a party, but not for anyone living. We'll tell you who they really wanted there.
Vitamin D is good for the body, but too much of it led to a disaster for Utah farmers. Find out why coming up.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please.
Do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you.
Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Dodgeball in gym class as a kid, USU holds an annual event for those of you who love the smell of sweat and shame in the morning, and it was for a good cause. This year, the organizers decided to put a cause to the event and honor Frank De Leon Comprez, a USU student who passed away this summer. De Leon Comprez was a member of the USUSA International Student Council. He was killed in an aviation accident on July 18th. All proceeds from the tournament went to his Memorial Scholarship Fund, and organizers say it was an incredible experience to honor their friend.
We really appreciated what Frank did and loved him as a leader and wanted to celebrate his life, and we figured this was a good way to do it.
Links to donate to Frank's Memorial Scholarship Fund can be found on USU's website in the Advancement and Alumni Relations section.
You can dress up and have a party for the Day of the Dead, but it isn't all about costumes and candy like Halloween is. Our Kaylin Taylor shows you what makes this holiday special for those who celebrate it.
Sugar skulls, an altar, and face painting help families remember Day of the Dead.
A lot of my family members are passed on, and this is the best way for me to remember and cherish their memory instead of saying, oh, I miss Grandma so much.
Dia de los Muertos starts with a parade and is celebrated from October 31st to November 2nd, but it isn't Halloween.
It's often seen as the Mexican Halloween, but it's completely different.
In America, most people dress up on Halloween to scare other people away, but right now, I'm getting my face painted to invite some ghosts in.
A painted face helps
to appeal to people who have passed away and to invite them to come and celebrate with us.
everything from
Papel picado,
to
pan de muerto,
and
calaveras.
are all to invite the dead.
It's kind of like a gateway, and it tells the soul of the person that's deceased that this is the altar that they're supposed to be at.
To join the celebration, you just need a reason.
I had a cousin pass away this year, and that was very difficult for my family. I love the idea of Dia de los Muertos because it's more of like a happy and a remembering instead of a sadness.
Kaylin Taylor, ATV News.
The Latino Student Union says they're planning on keeping the tradition going next year.
Dancers are raising money for Shriners Hospital. They're dancing for those who can't. They call it Art with Heart. Dance groups from around Salt Lake hosted 2 performances as a fundraiser. They do it because they love to dance and are passionate about Shriners Hospital.
The money goes straight to the hospital, and they get wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, prostheses, surgeries, anything they can. And this is our 15th year doing it.
Dancers also go door to door asking for donations. Over the last 14 years, they have raised $450,000. With the performances this weekend, they hope to pass the $500,000 mark. The performances include the dance club, winners, schools, and dance impressions. If you'd like to know more about this event, we will have more information on our Facebook page.
Hundreds of rabbits are dead all over Utah, and researchers at Utah State are finding out why. Jeffrey Hall is the head of diagnostic toxicology at USU, and after weeks of research, he and his team discovered that rabbit feed was the cause of death for hundreds of rabbits around the state. After 6 months of incidents of dying rabbits, farm owners turned to the USU toxicology lab for answers. Dr. Hall says the feed sold by the company Commercial Rabbits had a toxic level of vitamin D, and that caused the rabbits' organs to fail. But Dr. Hall says the problem could not have been solved sooner.
When they started seeing these problems back in even as early as July and August, they never thought about bringing animals in to find out why they were dying.
Very sad. I've definitely had pets of my own, and I can just imagine the sadness of losing a rabbit like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think we can all relate to that. Thank you for joining us on this edition of ATV News.
Catch all the latest editions of ATV News on our Facebook page. Have a great day, Aggies.